Hello, hello, how's it going? There it is. There it is. Hey, this is awesome. Thanks so much for having me out. I love serving, and so do you ever just find you're in your sweet spot, like something you're so passionate about that you love talking about it? And that's service for me, because it's something that changed my life years ago and something that I love talking about. But before I do that, can I just introduce you to my family? Because I feel like you got to know who I kind of hang with, and these people are so important to me. And so do you have those pictures? I'm going to introduce you. Okay, the one on the left, that's Rowan, 11 years old. This kid is he's actually kind of a little version of me. He's got like tons of energy, talks all the time. It'll be like 10 o'clock at night. I'm trying to put him to bed. He's bouncing off the walls. The kid on the right, that's Zion. He is 13, and he's more my like chill kid, right? Do you have a sibling like that? Who's just like the chill one? Who's the chill one? Okay, who's like the Energizer bunny? Okay. I feel like one and two of you raised your hand both times. Like you don't really know who you are, but anyway, it's all good. So, all right, this is Bob Burnquist's ramp. Anyone been there or seen it? Anyone know who Bob Burnquist is? We got to check out the mega ramp. Our quest for these kids, they love to skate, so we hit our 99th park this year. We're trying to hit 100, and so we're right there. All right, next slide. This is my wife, Bree, on the left. This is in Uganda this year. So we got to go out there and check out some of the cool stuff going on. All right, next. All right, every lady on her birthday needs a personalized, homemade Snoop Dogg card. This was Zion's idea. So let me read to you, and I quote, "Shizzle my dizzle, have yourself a happy birth dizzle." That is what they wrote to Mom on her birthday. How awesome is that, right? Mom's like, okay, all right, next. This is just a day in my life. This was Tuesday. I get up. Zion had built this launch ramp. Now, it kind of looks like it's going in the pool, but where else does it look like it's going? Into the rocks, okay? And the other one was standing on the top of the ladder. See that black part? You don't step on that. You know why? Those things are wobbly. One's launching into the rock, one's on the top. It's morning time. You know what I did? I just went to work. I'm like, I don't know, I'm out of here. So that's my life. Is there any pictures there? Okay, and that was my little one, Rue. He hit this ramp. It was so big, I didn't even want to go off it, and my little one, the 11-year-old, was hitting that thing. And so that's just a little bit about me. It is fun at our household, but it is crazy. That is my life. Here at the church, I always say that I have probably the best job that I know of, because I get to help this church serve and be generous. Can you guess? Anyone can guess how many service projects the church, and not just me, but how much you, the church, did last year alone? Any guesses? What would you say? 400? More? 200? Okay. How much? What'd you say? 1,500? Is that what you said? No, I thought you said. What do you think? Yeah. Help them out. What do you think? 400? Okay, more? Four total. The last group said that too. 5. No, we serve. What do you think, sir?
I don't know, 2,000.
2,000? Okay, less than that. 1,000. We'll meet in the middle. This church last year served 1,560 times. And the amazing thing is we're at church right now, right? It's incredible. But what happens when this church decides to leave here to go out to people, to introduce them to Jesus, just by the simple fact that we leave here over 1,500 times in a year to go out and serve? It's incredible what that does. And so that's what I want to talk about today. Now, can we admit, like, it's kind of, we don't always want to serve anyone else, right? Like, there are times when it's nice to be served. Actually, let's do this. Can we come up with a working definition of service? What do you think serving means? Like, to serve someone else?
To assist or help someone.
Okay, assist or help someone. What else? What does it mean to serve? What do you think? Everyone's like, me? Do not call on me. I'll bounce you. How about you? Yeah, doing something for someone. So sometimes I want to kind of open up your mind. Sometimes helping someone else, it's just service. We're just helping someone else. It's not that you go to Uganda and do it well. Like, you may just go and serve someone in your own household, or you're just nice to someone. It's not always this big thing. Sometimes it's the little. But isn't it kind of nice? Can we all admit, isn't it nice to be pampered a little bit? Okay, so what would you say? Like, where could you go? Where's there good service? Like, really good service? A place you go, you're like, dude, this is nice. What would you say? Okay, have you been to one?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do they do at a 5-star hotel?
They have room service and all that stuff.
Room service. So for those of you who do not know what room service is, you call up whatever you want. They just bring it to you. You're in your hotel room. Boom, there you go. What else do they have at 5-star hotel? Food. Again, that's all that's on your mind. Okay, who had their hand? Who said Chick-fil-A? You're always pointing behind you. Chick-fil-A, okay. Where else? Who has good service? Like the best service. Who here's got a pedicure? Okay, what is that thing? Service, okay, there you go. Just for your toes. Every guy in this room is like, what? You pay to have someone file your toes? But you paint them. Okay, even better. Why do you paint them? It's fun, okay. Another definition of fun. All right, so check this out. It's nice to be served, right? It's nice when you could have someone do something for you. It's kind of awesome, isn't it? It's nice. I like that. It's not bad to have that happen, but what happens if we're doing that all the time? So we're going to go down 2 tracks. Ready? The first is what happens when we're getting served all the time? How does that impact us? The second is what happens when we start changing that sort of philosophy? We start deciding, hey, I'm just going to serve people. I'm going to be doing that. That's what I want my life to be about. So in my household, the boys have to do some stuff that's annoying. Dinner time. Mom's making dinner usually. They get their plates. And I don't know, maybe if this is you, but sometimes before anyone could even sit down, the boys have already started digging in their food and they're eating all of it before we're even there. And so our rule in our household is mom needs to sit before anyone else sits. You got it? So they're awkwardly standing behind their chair, waiting for mom. Mom comes, then they sit down. They still can't eat because everyone needs to be seated before they can eat. And after we're done, who's doing the dishes? They are. That's right. You got the right idea. Okay? So we've made these. Do you think they love this? They hate it. Why is this important? To teach them how to be responsible. Here's the thing. The things we're doing every single day become the rhythms of our life, right? The things that I practice every single day I get really good at. Who here skates? Anyone skate? Has anyone seen a skateboard? Anyone? Okay. Did anyone surf? Okay. How long did it take you to learn how to surf like a shortboard?
About 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're on a longboard and you go down. Did you just get a shortboard and the day one you're like, I'm killing it doing a snap? No.
I had a foam longboard.
You had a foam longboard. Right. Here's the thing. The things you're doing every day, even today, right now in this moment, the things you do every single day become who you are. They're who you are. So if you're expecting to be served every single day, you're becoming a person that just kind of is like, yeah, people serve me. I'm one that I should be served, right? Here's the amazing thing is if you change that and you're someone saying, no, I'm going to serve every single day, you become a servant to other people. In a moment, I'm going to explain why that's important. But the awesome thing is we get to become what we practice every single day. I think the question is, what are you becoming? A servant or someone who expects to be served? Because here's the thing. What starts as a blessing, right? Being served, getting awesome service becomes our normal, and then it becomes our expectation. It starts at a blessing, it becomes our normal, and then it becomes the expectation. Okay, who's flown in a plane before? Raise your hand. All right, now, there's kind of 2 types of people. There's the rich people who get first class, and there's everybody else. Okay, who's been in like the everybody else section? All right, you're walking down that tarmac. You got your like bag of shame. Everyone is staring at you. You got your luggage and you're cruising through, like hitting people on the legs. It is packed. People are coughing all over the place. You're like, oh my gosh, who am I sitting by? It's super tight in there, right? That has been my experience my entire life, is being in that section until last year. So we're flying across the world. And my friends who took us on this awesome trip were like, all right, check it out. We upgraded you. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. But what does that mean to be upgraded? Like extra peanuts, maybe like extra soda. So I show up. You have all like the peasant folk walking down that tarmac, like all of us, right? That's not where we go. There's a ramp for like the like the rich folk. Like you go up the ramp, they're like, yeah. All right, so then I start going up the ramp. There's not like everyone staring at you when you get up there because everyone's just chilling out. I know, this is blowing my mind too, right? So everyone's chilling out there. I get to my seat. The seat reclines all the way into a bed. It's got a little pillow, a blanket. I'm up there chilling out, and instantly some lady comes up. She's dressed in like a really nice outfit. She's like, I'm your attendant. What can I get you? I'm like, what do you mean? She just is there to serve me. That's it. My wife has her own attendant. Are you tracking with me? Okay, we have our own attendant. There's a menu. Any drink you want the whole time, okay? And then any meal you want. And if I wanted, I could have got filet mignon every single meal. And then they bring over a hot towel. I'm like, all right, is this for my armpits? For you girls with the pedicure? Like, is this for my feet? Like, no, sir, that's for your hands. And then they have like specialty old guy socks, but I'm like, whatever. Throw the socks on. I got like my little shoes on. I'm wearing like the little sleep mask. I'm like, I look at my wife and I remember going, like, this is a blessing, right? This is a blessing. We took that thing across the world. It was a blessing until flight 2. Flight 2. I'm not going with the peasant folk. They're on the tarmac. I'm somebody, right? I cruise up to the top level. That's where the people like me go. I go to my seat. Where's my attendant? Excuse me, I'll need my hot towel. I just caught myself in a moment going, where's my person? I'm like thirsty. I kind of want my drink. You see, what started as a blessing became my normal, and then it became my expectation. Because when we're served, we're not active. And slowly it gives us this thing where we don't have any joy because we just expect people to take care of us. That's not how we're wired. That's not how we're supposed to be. Everything we practice daily is what we become. Here's the thing. When we're focused solely on what I can get from people, we're miserable. Now, I think most of my life, I thought, I'm going to get a bunch of money. I'm going to buy whatever car I want. I'm going to be awesome. I'm going to have a rad girlfriend. I'm just going to get all this stuff. It's going to be super cool. The thing is, I arrived at a spot in life where I got all of those things and was miserable. It reminds me of a story of a college quarterback. This guy in high school was so good, he was recruited across the country, and he went to play for Texas A&M. Anyone here play football? You guys don't surf, you don't skate. You play football, okay. This dude ran for 1,000 yards as a freshman, threw for 3,000 yards. He was like the top quarterback. This guy was a baller. He won the Heisman Trophy as a freshman. He was the all-SEC, the hardest conference, all-pro. He won the Cotton Bowl that year. And he was a team player. This guy's Johnny Manziel. Anyone know who Johnny Manziel is? Awesome Netflix documentary. It's a little rough, but so this guy was a total baller. Here's the thing. This guy did everything for his team in college. And he started going, what about me? What about me? I kind of want to just have fun. So he started hanging out with Drake. He was hanging out with LeBron. This dude was going out to all these bars. And he still had a good season. He was still a baller. He still did well, but there was a little bit of a shift from this team player into someone who was just changing. This guy was doing so good that when he was a rookie, he got drafted by the Cleveland Browns, number 22. Short quarterback, but he was still super good. He got into the NFL, and he was just struggling. He was struggling. So much so that he started partying more and more. And there was a Saturday. What day does football play on in the NFL? What day? Sunday. Where is he Saturday? He's in Vegas. Where does he live? Ohio. So he travels to Vegas. I know, right? Travels to Vegas. He's got a wig on, like a fake mustache, right? He's doing his thing. Everyone's kind of like, what the heck is that Johnny Manziel in Vegas? He starts to get drunk. He's just going for it. He has to work on what day? Sunday. What day is it? Saturday. This guy is an NFL quarterback. He's got to work in like 12 hours. He's thinking, I'll just get a flight home. I'll get up. I'll do what I do. This dude cannot find a flight home. The starting quarterback of the Browns was in Vegas on game day. He could not get home. And what happened is his team, his coach, his friends, his family were like, hey, Johnny, we cannot do this anymore. We can't have you doing what you're doing. We need you. You're the leader of our team. And Johnny did something crazy. He said, you think I'm partying right now? I'm going to show you what partying looks like. And this dude decided, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to show him. I'm going to show everyone that tried to hold me accountable what it looks like when I really party. And he would go on a $5 million binger. All his money. $5 million. Every girl, any party, drugs, alcohol, anyone, everyone. He would pay for everything. $5 million. You know where he ended up? In a room by himself. And it's kind of gnarly, but this dude was in a room by himself. And one night he would say in the documentary, I had a gun. I put it to my head, and for the girl, I don't know what happened, but that gun did not go off. In all of that, trying to serve himself, to just indulge, to take, he ends up in a spot where he's more depressed than ever before. Because we're not meant to just take. That's not what God wanted for our life. And this dude who had done it to the best of his ability came to a spot where he was even more depressed. And I worked with depressed women for a long time. It's kind of funny. It seems like a long time ago, I was actually working. I was 24, 25 years old. I was working at a counseling center. So I'll kind of explain this so you know what we're talking about. But all these women who had kids and they were kind of on the streets, they were super depressed. They couldn't work. They would send them to our counseling center, okay? So they would come in, and we're talking like inning and everything, gangster, ghetto, just off the streets, depressed. They would come in, and then they would get me. I'm in my slacks. I got, like, anyone have the shoes you wear once a year, but they're leather, they look nice? Okay, those. I had my pleated shirt. I had my tie on. They come in, and I'm like high energy. You think I'm high energy here? Back then, I was like even worse. So I'm like doing my thing. They would come in the program, and I'm trying to help them not get depressed. Do you see what I'm doing? So they come in the program. We're going to talk about our feelings. We're going to talk about what's going on. We're going to try and work through it. So they were able to kind of work through their depression. It was really sad. And I would try everything. So I was doing like jazzercise with them. I was like, all right, this is sweet. You know, we're doing this. We'd talk about feelings. We'd write journal. We'd release balloons. Anyone seen the Wii? Do you even know what that is? I got this thing called Wii ping pong. I'm like, let's ping pong our troubles away. And they weren't doing it. And I remember I was trying everything, okay? And I even tried this thing called yoga. Anyone do yoga? Oh, it's just trash. It's the worst. I'm just playing. So here's me. I got my slacks on. I'm like, I'm just willing to do whatever. All these gals, we're going to do yoga. We're going to like stretch our problems away. And so I remember I'm in this room. We're like, there's two of us doing yoga, and everyone just sit around and watch and go on their phone, scroll. And so there's me. I'm in the middle. I'm doing this. What's this position? Seal? Okay. I'm doing seal, downward seal, whatever. I look up. Everyone is just staring at me. I'm like, oh my gosh. like, you ever do something and you realize too late, everyone is staring at you? Like, that was me. It's like, everyone's staring at me. This is not it. Nothing we're doing is working. These people are just as depressed. Now, at the same time, I started coming to North Coast Church. We did this thing. It was called Weekend of Service. Over a weekend, 2 full days. 2 full days, we served someone else. We went to their house. It was all these people with Down syndrome. We worked on their house all day. I know. It was awesome. All day Saturday, all day Sunday, we're serving them. The crazy thing is I actually made some friends that day, friends I still have to this day. But we served them the entire time. And it was awesome is that I thought I was going to be exhausted, and I came back to work, and I was actually filled up. So I came up with a crazy idea. No more yoga for me, right? No more Wii ping pong. No more sitting around. We're going to do something. We're going to take these depressed women. We're actually going to go do something. And I have no idea if this is going to work, okay? So we decide we're going to come up with a campaign. That very thing that worked for me, what if it worked for them? What if by serving we could actually, feel better, not worse? So we got together, we got these women, we came up with this campaign called Paint It Forward. We're going to go find people who have it really hard. People who are schizophrenic, people who are on the streets, people who are out of their mind, people who are even more depressed than our gals. We're going to go serve them, okay? Imagine what an idea at 24 years old. It was like, this could be horribly wrong. This could be awful, or it's going to be amazing, but something about to happen, right? So we get there, and mind you, some of these gals with depression, I'd never seen them smile. Some of them were so depressed, they didn't even brush their own teeth. They didn't even shower. They come in and were like a shell of a person, not doing anything at all. We leave there with our buckets of paint, and for 2 days, we're over there helping people that have it harder than us. And the crazy thing is, I started to see people for the first time smile. And then I saw some people laugh. And then I saw these girls who didn't connect at all start connecting with each other and laughing, painting each other, putting a little dab of paint on their faces. They're all painted. They're wearing their shirts, laughing. And I was almost stepping back and just being like, dang, it's something is magic about this. These women are not more depressed. They're actually better. They're excited because in that moment, the same thing that is true for them is the same thing that's true for us, is that when we're serving, we are connected to the very thing that we're created to do. When you serve other people, you're connected to the very thing that God made you to do. And it was powerful. It would go on to change how I ran that program from that day forward. Who's got their Bible? Okay, check this out. When I first got a Bible, my mom got me one called the King James Version. It's like, dear Lord, holy thou art thou. And my pastor would be reading stuff. I'm like, I think my Bible's broken. It's saying like something totally different. I would recommend, I have a Bible. I have an NIV. I love that because it's just simpler language. If you want, just know anytime you have a table of contents in the front there, that'll tell you everything. You got an Old Testament and New Testament. Old Testament is long ago, but and farther away, but it's still weaved into the New Testament. And so the New Testament is awesome, though. You have Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. It's the stories of Jesus. And so there's some awesome stuff here. We're going to Ephesians, though. It's in the New Testament. It's a little bit after the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, Galatians, and Ephesians. Ephesians 2:10. And when I was a new believer, this meant so much to me. Who will read it? Who's got a Bible? And if you got a King James, so sorry I made fun of that. If you like that version, that's all good. Who's got their Bible? Who's got it? Ephesians 2:10. Okay, what does it say? Who's my volunteer? Home? Yeah, okay, let's hear. For we are God's handiwork or workmanship, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which he prepared in advance for us to do. How incredible is this? That God at a time created you, not just randomly, but he created you with an intention. He created you not just be like waving a magic wand, but he actually made you special, unique. I love the word that they use is poema, like your poem, like you're a special thing to God. He made you special because he wants to unleash you and have you serve specially in a special way that only he designed you to do. Created in Christ Jesus to do good works, that God had a plan for you. God said, I'm going to use you the way that you are, the way that I made you to do something amazing that only you can do because I only have one of you. Isn't that awesome? When I was a new Christian, I almost couldn't believe, God, you made me unique that way. It just blew my mind. You're going to use me in all my mistakes, in all my flaws, you'd still use me. And the answer is yes. We were meant to serve. Here's the crazy thing. God is up in heaven. He literally took that crown off his head, the king, and he left it in heaven to come here in the form of Jesus. And not only would he come here, but he came here to teach, but then also to serve. John 13. Remember, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, New Testament, John 13. Are you there? Okay. John 13. Here's the setting. Jesus, he's about to die. Not only is he about to die, like he's going to get crucified, okay? He knows what's about to happen. He's going to die very soon. So think about where your mind would be when you know what's about to happen next. How hard that would be. I'm about to die soon. And this verse blew me away. It says, it was just before the Passover festival. Jesus knew that the hour had come for him to leave the world to go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. You know what was on Jesus' mind at the very end? You, me, his followers. I'm about to die, and I'm going to love you in my last actions here on earth because he loves us that much. And then he would go on to do something crazy. Anyone have like just a feet thing? You just hate feet? Aren't feet just kind of nasty? Anyone know someone like a friend with just horrible toes? Like you don't tell them that, but they wear sandals and you're like, oh my gosh, that is bad news. Slap some socks on those things. Slap some like your crazy toes. I have a toe that just hovers. It doesn't even hit the ground. And I didn't know until my son was laying on the ground. They're like, Dad, what's wrong with your toe? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, it doesn't touch the ground. Like my whole life, one of my toes has never hit the ground. He slid like a playing card underneath. He's like, see that, Dad? I got some weird feet. We all got weird feet. Here's the thing, though. I'll say feet are disgusting now. Back then, feet were even like the most disgusting thing because people were walking around in sandals. And if you ever been to a foreign country or when I went to Haiti, you know what you do with your sewage, your waste, your trash? You throw in the street. Just chuck that in the street. And where does everyone walk? In the street. What does it smell like? Smell like pee and garbage and everything because everyone is walking through that. So one of the most disgusting things even today is toes and feet. Back then, the most disgusting thing on a person was their feet because of what you're walking through day in and day out. And here they are. Jesus is going to love them to the end. This is the part that blew me away. Remember, what's going to happen in a few pages, a few chapters? He's going to die. He's going to get crucified. Jesus knew that the Father, if you want to look in verse 3 here, Jesus knew that the Father put all things under his power. He'd come from God and was returning to God. So he got up from his meal. You could just imagine all his disciples wondering, like, what's Jesus about to do? He got up from the meal. Remember, this is God. He took off his outer clothing, wrapped a towel around his waist. After that, he poured water into a basin, and he began to wash the disciples' feet. The very thing that none of those people wanted to wash. The very thing none of those people even wanted to touch. It was too disgusting. our God put away, put aside, left behind his divinity to be here. And in that moment, he showed us something so powerful. He's like, you're all dirty. These feet are not just feet. They represent something. Your filth, your disgusting sin, all the things that I'm about to wash from you. I'm going to take it to the cross. And I want to show you, even in my last days, how much I love you as I'm about to do this for you. I love Peter's response. He's like, no, you can't wash my feet. He's like, I need to wash your feet because I want to show you what you do next. I want to show you how I want you to serve. We have a God that loved us that much. We have a God that doesn't make mistakes. In fact, he's made you beautiful, wonderful, with intention, with design, and then he wants to use you to serve. He wants to empower you to go out and be the hands and feet to people. He wants to use you to impact, to leave here and go out and touch lives out there. Isn't that incredible? That is our God. And here's the thing. 9th grade, one of my first actions in high school was to get expelled. I've been there like a month. I get kicked out of school. I'm sitting at home. My mom had a brand new baby, right? I'm going from chilling at high school at home, baby crying all over the place. All my friends that were fun and liked to mess around and do all that kind of stuff, even the high school friends I was getting in trouble with, all those guys gone. Now all my friends gone. And I got a letter. One girl, she wrote me and said, hey, I'm so sorry that happened. I want to invite you to church. Here's the crazy thing. This many years, and I didn't put this together till this morning. That church was a church called Three Crosses in Castro Valley, the very church that Austin Payne's about to go to. That girl wrote me that letter, inviting me to go to that church. And you know what I did? I went. You see, at your age, that girl had something that you also have, is the ability to make impact. I was so open to that time, I just didn't know it. And so I want to encourage you that you have the ability to make that same impact. She impacted my life greatly at a time where I needed it. And you can also look for and make that same type of impact just by looking for people that are just like me, like I was back then, fringe kid who was lost and making horrible choices, who desperately wanted something, a kid who was made to serve, a kid that God had poured into, and I had just never exercised that. And she impacted my life. So I want to show you, just as we kind of get towards our close today, what does it look like when this church, when we leave, when we actually get this model of Jesus, of serving, of reaching out to our community, and how much impact it makes. You want to see what it looks like when this church leaves the building to go out and be the hands and feet of Jesus? Take a look.
This is a total blessing to get to see the heart of the community come out from the church, to see the church outside the church, in the community, serving.
To shut down church for a weekend, to then just go be the church, I'm in awe.
You could not believe how generous these people are, how skilled they are. North Coast DNA is hard work.
You guys have a legacy and a reputation of doing amazing work, but I would have never imagined all of this.
To have you guys come in as volunteers and support us and believe in what we do, it's a blessing.
It's just hard to fathom that you stop all services and just come and transform the city, but that's what Christ's love is all about.
We're an organization that builds beds for kids that sleep on the floor. And today we're going to build more and deliver more.
It's okay to even end just a touch early. This is a North Coast problem. People are working too hard. Today, the church is helping our organization, the Santa Ana Rescue Mission. These ICU kits that the Jordan's putting together today are going to be used to do outreach to people that are currently experiencing homelessness.
We're putting up a greenhouse. We are putting up 80 garden boxes. We're doing a whole makeover here to aid in the outdoor education of the Bonza School District.
First time I walked with Brent and Chase and Kristen, they said, "What would you like?" And I said, "Well, we've got a hillside we could weed." And the three of them actually kind of turned their heads and all laughed at the same time. And they said, "Think big." So what we went from was just an empty grass field, and we transformed this into one of the most spectacular outdoor learning environments I've ever seen. I can't even express how amazing this is. And it happened in 2 days.
So here's what we want to do, because we believe in what you're doing. We know that as beautiful as this place is, it does have a lot of needs. Like some of the power went out and things like that. And so we have a check for you today.
What? Let's keep on going, you guys.
Here you go. There's a check for $20,000. We love what you're doing.
I'm speechless. You guys are just, wow.
We love you guys, and so we want to give you just a small check to say, hey, keep up the great work. So here you go. Here's a check for $10,000. So here's a check for you all for $10,000.
Oh my gosh.
Of course. We want to give this to Boys and Girls Club. This is a check for $10,000 to say, incredible work and keep it up.
Thank you. You guys are awesome. Just awesome. Thank you.
And thank you, North Coast Church, all of you that helps make projects like this, places like this, a reality. So we love you guys. Great work. So, do you think the kids, when they come back, they're going to be excited about this?
Definitely. If you were a kid, how excited would you be?
I think I'd be pretty excited.